drifters so far this season, and the home track advantage has proven to be imperative, with each round win going to one of the local stars. For the first time this weekend, the battle will be fought on neutral territory as Symonds Plains Raceway in Tasmania plays host to the penultimate round of the Toyo Drift Australia Series. As the season end draws near, the championship hopefuls are looking to net some vital points. But with a year that's been littered with upsets and boosted by the arrival of more young, talented superstars, points at the Plains are going to be more precious than ever. A full field of drivers have made the trip across Bass Strait and are ready to sink their teeth into the Apple Isle. This is round 4 of the Toyo Drift Australia Series.
Hello and welcome to Symonds Plains Raceway in Tasmania for the drifting event of the year. This is going to be an absolute corker because it rides so much on the championship. In fact, this weekend, the top 3 places are filled with Leighton Fine, Bolger and Yates. Now, who'll take it out, of course, is anyone's guess. But if it is one of these fellas, they'll be one step closer to taking out the series this year. Let's go downstairs right now and catch up with some of this year's contenders. Well, Robbie, you had a great win at Queensland Raceway, mate. Can we take it off and win the championship?
Yeah, of course we can, mate. Manara won in America. Japanese cars had their day. It's like 15 years coming into the country now. They're just scrap, mate. If you listen really carefully, you will hear them rusting.
Competition's pretty fierce out there coming into the second last round. There's 32 other guys out there trying to compete well to get in the points for the end of the year, but I think we're going to give it a good shot this weekend.
Look, we just got to go hard and see if we can stay ahead of that big Monaro. We're just trying to stick in the top 4, top 8, just keep consistent, keep reliable, and yeah, do our best and see what happens.
This round sees the Drift Australia Series feature the debut of 3 new drivers. The absence of Jared Danaher allows Gators teammate Rob Arbolino to make the big step up.
I debuted at Eastern Creek in Super Drift. As you said, this is the first DA round for me. But yeah, there are some big boys, Robbie Bolger and all that. I'm sure they've got a lot more experience than me, as I haven't even hit 12 months of drifting yet. So yeah, we're hoping to really mix it with the big boys this weekend. It'd be good for Team Gators, Forenza, Auto Style Garage, all our sponsors. It'd be really good.
A regular in the Victorian drift scene, Kuda El Huli is here this weekend to make his mark in Drift Australia.
I just entered DA. This is my first round, and I definitely would like to keep on going with it next year. Very, very, very excited. And I'll thank my sponsors for bringing me here, JDS Auto Imports, and Drift Australia for having me here.
The Drift Australia Series has continued to gain the attention of superstars from all over the sporting world. And round 4 will see world BMX champion Luke Fink launch his assault.
It's another sport, it's a judge sport, it's not a team sport, so I like it. Obviously we have our team, like our team that works on the car, but when it comes down to it, you're in the car, if you stop up, it's your fault. You know, all of my friends do it, we've all gone from BMX, like I still do the BMX very much so, like in the competition and whatnot, but you know, just bringing it onto this, all my BMX friends all doing it, skate friends, everything, so it's just, yeah, it's an awesome sport.
In hooking up with Holford Motors, Fink has found himself behind the wheel of a car that is sure to be competitive.
It's an XD1 car from Japan, so it's straight out set up. We haven't touched a thing on it really. We've tuned it for a bit more power. Other than that, straight out of Japan, D1, we haven't changed suspension. We softened it up a little bit for the Australian tracks because they're a bit bumpier. Other than that, it's full Jap spec. Yeah, I'm in it for the long haul either way. You know, if I have to build my own car again, I'll do it, you know. But, you know, I think me and Holford Motors, we're in for the long haul. It's gonna be fun.
For the second round in a row, it was Bo the Show Yates who was the standout performer in qualifying. The number 1 qualifying position gave Bo a bye run in the round of 32, and early signs showed the New South Welshman was very capable of making it 2 round victories in a row. The second battle was between JJ Markowski from South Australia in the Adept Electronics S13 Sylvia and Nathan Wiesel from New South Wales in the R32 Skyline. Nathan had qualified very strong at the previous championship rounds and was disappointed to have qualified 17th at Symonds Plains. The first run was scored very closely by the judges, but the Skyline driver had the upper hand in the second run, and it was Wiesel that booked himself in a showdown with Bo Yates in the top 16. Engine problems from Danny Denzo Verhumis in the Wheelworks Nissan saw him jump into one of Robbie Bolger's Kappa stunt utes for his top 32 battles against Darren Muse.
Mate, this thing's great. You can get in it, you can drive to Melbourne, Sydney, back, drift it, put your dog in the back, some potatoes and go home.
Danny gave it everything he could in the near-standard ute, but it was Muse that had the upper hand in the S14, making it 3 New South Welshmen in a row through to the top 16. Lean Mean Eugene Aronson from Queensland has had a phenomenal rookie season so far this year, with top 8 finishes at the last 2 rounds in his 180SX. Eugene came up against Mark Marchison though in the round of 32, and it was a South Australian that impressed the judges the most, and the former world rowing champion was bundled out early for the first time this year. Next up, a battle between 2 killer drivers in 2 wild-looking cars. Corporal Christian Pickering in the Camo S15 and fellow South Australian Cool Kelly McKinnon in the Nankang-sponsored Skyline. McKinnon justified his reputation as one of the most consistent drivers in the field with a top 4 qualifying position. But the Corporal gave Kelly his marching orders in this encounter with a dominant performance. The 2 most powerful drift cars in the world lined up for the next battle. The massive V8s of Robbie Bolger in the Kappa Monaro and Johnny Udy from New Zealand in the legendary supercharged Kappa Drift Ute. Robbie was going to have to work for it in this one though, having blown his clutch earlier.
Mate, basically we think the clutch has exploded down to my abuse from the clutch. I've been quite hard on the clutch, kicking it and stuff, so I think it's expired slightly. Obviously my fault, I spun and got a bit angry with it and kicked it a bit harder than I should have probably, but what can you do, mate? V8 power against Japanese cars and the Japanese clutch broke.
Johnny drifted wide on the first left-hand turn, but took the fight back up to Robbie in the second as he came to grip with the ute's incredible power on the tight layout. It wasn't enough to stop the big Irishman though, and it was Bolger that would go on to face off against Christian Pickering in the next round. Rob Arbolino from New South Wales made his Toyo Drift Australia debut at Symonds Plains in the Gators-sponsored 180SX. A mistake by Arbolino on the first run was all that was needed for West Australians Adam Truella to capitalise on his top 5 qualifying position. It took 3 battles to separate James Verhumis from South Australia and Dan Mackey from New South Wales. The first battle was too close to call, and the first rerun saw James hit the kitty litter and Dan Mackey back his Skyline into the wall.
Oh, mate, I just came in a bit hot behind James, and once you come in too hot over there, particularly that rise, which we knew was going to be a problem, it just unsettled the car, and that was it. I was going backwards, and pretty much the rest of the time, you're just a passenger.
Another rerun was called, and eventually it was Verhumis that took the win by the narrowest of margins. The second half of the top 32 started with a bye run for the number 2 qualifier, Leighton Fine. The current championship leader was lucky to be here today after a nightmare start to the weekend.
Mate, yesterday morning, first thing, we snapped the diff. So we've had just a nightmare of a day yesterday. We've had to drive about 350 k's to find a new diff, and then we've had to go to some backyard farm to weld it up. And it's just been shocking.
The South Australian Toyota driver has led the Toyo Drift Australia Series since winning the opening round at Mallala, but with home track wins by Robbie Bolger at Queensland Raceway and Bo the Show Yates at Eastern Creek, Leighton knew it would be critical to come away from Symonds Plains with a strong finish. Another top South Australian driver, Mark Phillips, went head-to-head with Fernando Well from New South Wales in the next battle. A straighten by the Martini Skyline gave the first run to the Sabre-sponsored 180SX. Things went from bad to worse for Phillips in the second run, handing a clear victory to Fernando. South Australian Speedway's Craig Vanderstel did a superb job in qualifying. However, the bad luck continued at Symonds Plains for the reigning DA champion, Darren Appleton. A gearbox problem for Appleton's Peer Industries Nissan 1VA left a popular Queenslander without the use of third gear, which took him out of contention. Yet another Queensland versus South Australia contest in the next battle when Adelaide's Steve De Palma took on Dan Keneally in the Hog's Breath Cafe and Toyo-sponsored Skyview Ute. Mistakes by both drivers forced them into a rerun, but it was De Palma who took both runs in the second battle to progress through to the top 16. The next battle saw Tom Monkhouse from South Australia in the Mitsubishi Evo up against Tasmanian-born Michael Truscott in the Phillips Performance Lighting S13. Michael is the only Tasmanian-born driver on the DA roster and is keen to put on a show for his home crowd.
It's really good to be back, and they've really taken to us really well this weekend. Of course, we're motivated to get a really good finish this round. for our sponsors, Phillips, KYB and Federal Tyres. We started off well, and the last couple of rounds not so great with a few mechanical issues and a few dramas here and there, but I mean that's racing, and you just get on with the job and do your best at the next round. The
judges scored a win to Truscott in the first run with superior points for speed, line and angle. The second run went to Monkhouse, but overall it was a 10-7 to 9-3 win to the local favourite. Next up was a very interesting contest. The Drift Cat, Catherine Calero in the Sabre-sponsored 1Via, up against a wildcard entry that everyone's been talking about, World BMX champion Luke Fink. Fink was out to stamp his mark on the Drift Australia series, and some problems for the Drift Cat gave him an easy run through to the top 16. Yet another wild card up next. Kulda El Houli from Victoria up against the man that finished third place in the last round, James Mardle from South Australia. Both drivers in Nissan S13 Silvias. Mardle in the Extreme Drift Clutch car and Kulda in the JDS Auto Imports entry.
Obviously Silvia, SR20, done a lot of modifications myself. Good 350-400 horsepower. I'm sure it's up to it.
A slight points advantage to Cooter on the first run, but a slip up on the second gave the win to Mardle. The interstate battle continued in the final top 32 contest. Chris DeJager from Victoria in the GFB Skyline versus James Mioch from New South Wales in the 180SX. Two great looking cars and two very close runs, but in the end it was DeJager that took the final spot in the top 16. The Toyo top 16 looks like this. Yates, Weissel, Muse, Marchison, Bolger versus Pickering, Truella and Verhumus, Fine, Whirl, Van der Stel versus De Palma, Truscott and Fink, and of course Mardle versus DeJager. Well, we're about to get the round underway here, a big crowd on the hill, but let's have a quick look at the points, and they are as such. Leighton Fine leading the charge with Robbie Bolger chasing him down, and Beau the Show Yates snapping at their heels as well. Kelly McKinnon there, so is Danny Verhumus. But right now it's top 16 time, and I welcome to the commentary position none other than Jeff Bullis. Welcome, my friend, and let's get it on.
Welcome, my friend, and let's rock and roll. Look at this, Beau Yates, Nathan Weissel, two New South Wales boys, first time in Tasmania. What do you reckon's going to happen?
Well, Dana here at the Apple Isle, anything can happen as Yatesy fires out of the hole. We're now JVC chase car straight away, I might say. And look at these guys heading over past the beach towards the Greater, and Yates opening up a great lead.
Yates off to a huge lead straight up racing, Jason. It's part of his battle strategy, the way he does it. Look at that nice flick there through the Toyo switch, and that's going to be a pretty good win to Beau Yates, you'd have to think.
They certainly are. Both guys new to this track here in Tasmania, as you can see, getting a handle of it. Nathan throwing the car around in a vain attempt to catch up with the show, but he is gone. Let's swap them around at the start line. The starter says go. The JVC chase car chases them down, and we go on board with Yates behind. And look at Weissel trying to unsettling him going over the rise, but this looks like it's going to be a really tough battle.
Not exactly vintage Yates just yet. Yates is known for attaching himself to the rear bumper of the car in front of him. Bit of a straighten there from Yates. Hang on a minute, this could be a little bit more interesting than we thought it would be. Catching him up at the end there, but the judges will penalise that straighten.
Yeah, they certainly will. As you can see, coming through here in the Greater, Yates straightens up quite severely there, and Weissel stays on it and heading through the switch. But we have a look at the points, and the judges are gone with Yatesy with 11-9 win over Nathan.
That's right, Jason, but only by a narrow margin due to the fact that there was that straighten at the end there. How's this for an exciting battle, though?
Oh, it certainly is. We've got Darren Muse up against Marky Mark all the way from South Australia. I understand he drove his car a majority of the way as we release the cars at the top end of the track. Muse is going to fire off, and Marky all over the back of him already.
It certainly is. That's how you got to be in a drift battle. You got to be right on the back of the guy in front. Demonstrate to the judges what you got. But Marky there, not quite attaching himself, and there's the straighten. Did you see that? Big straighten there by Marky, and that's going to cost him.
Certainly is, and Darren puts the foot down, and he is absolutely gone. Now here you can see him coming through, holding a really nice line heading towards the Greater. Keep your eyes on Marky at the back. There's the straighten. Game over.
That's right, Jason. Game over. Let's go for round two.
Swap him around now. Looks like Marky's going to lead out. Darren's going to chase him down, but he knows he's going to have a bit of an upper hand here. Marky's got nothing to lose, and he's already sideways and really working the car hard.
Yeah, he sure is working the car hard. Let's have a look to see if we can keep up. If Muse can keep up with Markey, I think he's pretty much got this one done and dusted. But he's managed to keep the horsepower down there, which is good. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, coming down now, you can see Markey's really committed right here. But have a look at Darren. He's just as committed, and he starts to get in touch with him through the mid-track here. Somehow, some way, the power comes down, and of course the win goes through to Darren. 11-9, Mark takes an early shower.
Yeah, that's right. That's another close one there, Jason. Once again, Muse on the basis of a better win the first half around. And talk about good battles. They just keep coming, don't they?
They certainly do. Corporal Christian Pickering up against rock and roll Robbie Bolger in the 900 horsepower Monaro. This guy's ready, locked and loaded. And I tell you what, there's no love lost between these two either.
No, certainly not. A bit of that Queensland versus SA rivalry stuff going on, that's for sure. Jason, tell us all about this one.
JVC Chase Car leads us in, but now we're up on the top on the scaffolding. We can see it from where the spectators are. Look at these guys absolutely hammering through the corners here. Monaro puts the 007 smoke show on, but Christian, he's gone a big spin. And we're going to, contact as well.
Yeah, a little bit of incidental contact there. I think what happened was as he turned around, he just kept floating backwards a little bit and Robbie just collected him. Nothing really serious to worry about there. But I think you'll find the Corporal there is just trying really hard. He knew that he was going really well in a battle against one of the top liners, and he wanted to just keep going and push that extra little bit, went a little bit too far.
Let's swap them around, ladies and gentlemen, in with the JVC Chase Car. This is a good idea to show you how fast these guys are going. That's an Evo we're riding on board with across the top of the rise towards the beach. Look at that, Corporal turns in nice and early. The Monaro's already setting himself up. Oh, bit of a straighten there from the Corporal. Here comes the Monaro. The foot is down. This guy is gone.
Look, one thing Robbie Bolger's been working a lot on is making his transitions really big. He's got a lot of angle one way and he flicks it around the other way. You'll see it here. That really makes it hard for Corporal Christian because the slightest little error by him gets pronounced heavily, and there it is, emphatic victory. Robbie Bolger goes through.
No, certainly took him out. 14-6. Pickering takes the early shower. Let's swap back to the start line in Borneo. Adam Trewella from WA in the Safiro, the flamethrower, up against the Iceman, James Verhumis from South Australia. Quite an evening pairing here. However, the cars are slightly different mechanically. But watch for the smooth driving style of JV in the two-door there. The big Safiro, I tell you what, it's got some grunt.
The Safiro has got a heck of a lot of grunt, and also it's got the best flame action coming out the back of that exhaust on deceleration. Look at that, Borneo with a good lead straight out, Trewella there, and James Verhumis doing his best to keep up with him. James Verhumis probably the most experienced competitor in the field here, and he's got his work cut out for him. Definitely not demonstrating as much angle as Borneo, for instance.
No, certainly. Have a look at this way. The way Borneo flicks the car back. Total commitment coming over the rise. That's a blind rise, ladies and gentlemen. Comes past the beach where the sand is. Of course, if you go to the beach, you always lose something, so you don't want to go in there. Around by the grader, both cars committed. I just can't help but thinking Borneo's got the upper hand on this one. JV looking 100% committed. They fire off. You get an idea here of the run-up to the first corner.
They've got a huge amount of run-up to the first corner, and what it means is they're carrying heaps of speed when they hit it. Let's see what happens now.
Well, in goes Verhumis. He's got nothing to lose. The bar's off after an early excursion. Back comes Trewella. He's trying hard, but the Iceman's pushing. But here comes Trewella. Look at that. Caught him up through that part of the track, and good traction from the big beast.
Look, not only is it excellent use of the horsepower, but it's just really good driving technique. He's hung on to that angle all the way through there. He's done a really good job. Both guys straightened up a little bit there. Let's watch what happens through this section, though, because this is going to tell us the story. Gathers him right up under drift. There it is, the straighten again there. And we've got a rerun.
You got to love this. I love it when this happens. You know, we can't pair them, so what do? Let's run them again. And that's exactly what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen. The front straight is where they're going to gather their speed. First, second, third, fourth. Lots of turbocharge. Heading across to the blind side. Trewella, textbook style entry. In he goes, pushing nice and hard.
Yeah, definitely. How about this? Plenty of speed there from the following man, James Verhumis, keeping it really close. The judges are going to have a hard time on this one already.
Well, they certainly are. As you can see, the Evo all over the back of them, using the four-wheel drive, and the drift cars really sliding nice and hard through those corners.
That's for sure. Now let's have a look on the replay here. Both guys got the drift on pretty early. There'll be better points for the line there going to Borneo. Bit of a straighten there as well, as you noticed. But Borneo, they're picking up the line the whole way along. It's fairly easy to stay wide in a corner. What the judges are looking for is someone who can really pick up the apex.
Notice James just jumping around in the seat there. Could be a little bit unnerved about this one. He's going to take off now. This is what it's going to come to. JVC chase car footage lets us have a look where they're going to head. Verhumis has gone in nice and early, and back comes the Safiro. Safiro's really, really raw right out the side there, but Verhumis has spun. Yeah, I just didn't think it was going to happen for him, and there was an avoid from the Safiro there as well.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much an avoid there. That's a Nissan Safiro, for those of you who aren't aware what that is. It's also called the Tokyo Taxi.
Tokyo Taxi.
The big four-door Nissan version of the SR20 engined car. Check it out here. James Verhumis comes up there, commits nice and early, but just tried a little bit too hard. And Borneo there, seeing that he was trying to take a little bit of evasive action, I think the judges will come down in his favour on this particular one.
Yeah, I was surprised the JVC chase car didn't spin as well, but let's have a look at the judges' score, and they come in as this 14 to Truella, 6 to Verhumis. Bye-bye, Verhumis. Let's cross the pits with Daniel Gibson down there with Adam.
Made a great battle with Verhumis to get into the top 8, mate.
Yeah, no, it was a tough one, but a good one, I thought. Yeah, great experience.
A little bit of a rerun and a rematch and a bit of a grudge here and there.
Yeah, no, I struggled a bit behind him the first time, but luckily I beat him the first time, so they called a rerun, so they gave me another shot at it.
Current points leader now on the start line, Leighton Fine. This guy needs to take some points from Tasmania, and he's up against Saber's own. Of course, none other than Fernando Wells. Both cars fire down now. Oh, the little A86 rocking and rolling nice and early. Both cars are 100% committed past the beach, heading towards the Greater. They turn in early. Quite a good pairing here. Both cars are evenly matched. Heading out of the Toyo switch, the little A86 has got his foot down. Fernando's trying to come back at him, but Leighton is gone.
That's right. What happens here, if you have a really good look, okay, the small lightweight Corolla Sprinter there does an excellent job of carrying the speed through the corners. Watch the way he kicks it. He flicks that back of the car around and just makes it really difficult for anybody to get better angle than him, and that's what really impresses the judges, Jason.
Let's go in car time. I know the judges if the judges could see this, it'd be so easy to judge, because look at this cool angle. Down comes Fernando. Massive brake he's opened up. The big SR20 turbo working overtime, but here comes Leighton in the little A86. Look how much he's caught him up through there. Oh, Fernando's putting his foot down, but I'll tell you what, Leighton Fine all over the back of the Sabre cars. We head towards the Alpha Bridge. Both cars almost side by side.
Look, Fernando has a massive horsepower advantage here, and this is where he can really take advantage of it. Massive early entry there, and then Leighton comes flying up. Look at the way he gathers him, not carrying as much angle as him though, and then Fernando takes it away from there. Look, that last battle was even. Judges couldn't split him. They went on the first one. Leighton Fine goes through. Unlucky for Sabre's Fernando Well.
Well, that's unfortunately the way the cookie crumbles, but right now, Steve De Palma on the start line now. He's up against probably one of the best rookies we've had all year, Craig van der Stel. Have a look at this car. Is this not a work of art?
That car is most definitely a work of art, but he's got his work cut out for him. Steve De Palma's been around this scene for a couple of years here.
Well, he certainly has, and in goes Craig. He's got the new wide track setup on the car. The Black Beast goes in nice, and it's De Palma. It does a pirouette, goes through the beach, takes the sand, and Craig is gone.
Look, really easy one to judge there, Jason, but I think you'll find that extra wide track that a lot of cars are carrying, that really assists them in terms of keeping the car progressive the way it moves around, unlike the case of De Palma where the car snapped on him, and look, that can happen when you're really trying hard.
Steve's been taking some dancing lessons, of course, from the Nisrek there. He's only a young guy as well, only about 18 years old as we go on board with Van der Stel. Now, have a look at the immaculate preparation. Oh, pulls on the handbrake as well. Now the Nisrek car's got nothing to lose. He's going to turn in nice and early. Watch him put the foot. Oh, nearly takes out the back of him. Craig using his sprint car skills to avoid the accident there. That was pretty close.
I can't believe that. you only really see from the onboard exactly what's going on there. We'll get a good view here. But because De Palma turned in so early, he sacrificed a lot of speed. And Van der Stel, how about that? Only goodness knows how he missed him.
Well, I tell you what, it was nearly a little bit of goal with a black stripe on the back of it. As we turn it around, have a look. The judges liked what they saw with Craig. 13 to him, 7 to De Palma. Craig goes through to the next round.
Yeah, and Van der Stel was actually carrying the drift box there, so I think he'll be going back to the pits and downloading that one.
Start line now, we've got Michael Lightning Truscott in the Phillips car, and of course he's going to be up against none other than the rookie, the guy that's just started out, Cool Hand Luke Fink.
Cool Hand Luke, he's made his name in BMX riding. He's a world champion BMX rider.
Rock on.
Yeah, but let's see how he goes on four wheels.
Well, he's driving the Holfords car this weekend. The Phillips car is going to come down, both very similarly powered. Let's see what they've got for us. They turn into the competition area. area. Oh, absolutely nothing but commitment from old Truscott there. But here comes Luke. He's coming back at him nice and hard. This is an interesting one because he's only a rookie, and yet he's up against one of the season campaigners, and he's all over the back of him.
Look, not only is he all over the back of him, he's got really good line, and he's emulating what the car in front is doing. If you can do that, that is extra points with the judges.
Certainly can. Cool looking crowd on the hill as well. It's great to come to Tasmania and get a lot of people coming out and seeing this exciting new sport, and it seems to be working very well. We're getting a lot of new competitors. A worried look there on Michael Truscott's face. He's thinking, who the heck is this kid?
Look, Truscott's a Tassie local, so let's see how he goes here. We'll see if he's got any of the extra knowledge. How about this, though? Luke Fink has just taken it away.
It's all game over. Look at that,
Look,
mate.
not only has he taken it away, but he put so much pressure on Tasmania's Truscott that he spun the car.
Well,
how about that?
Truscott could be looking to go down to Old Bogues and have a bit of a drink nice and early, mate. Have a look at this. 100% commitment here. He goes over the rise. He's turned the wheel. He knows he's gone too far. Adjusts the stereo, pulls the handbrake and says, time to go home.
He's got it. He's got it. He's got it. He's lost it. Unfortunate there, but Fink has opened up a big gap on him early and forced him to do something that he didn't want to do. Really good work from the rookie.
Look at the aggressive nature that Fink attacks the corners, and of course the judges like what they see. 12 to Fink, 8 to Truscott. The Tassie-born competitor goes home early.
Yes, the crowd on the hill won't be happy with that one.
At least they'll be able to get a signature in the bits, I suppose.
That's exactly right. Plenty of time for that now.
Chris DeJager in the go-fast bits up against James Dean Martle. I just love this guy's helmet. He's just such a character, isn't he?
He certainly is a character. I can't believe he was surprised by the cameraman there.
The Extreme Drift Clutch car's going to lead out. And here comes Martle. Pushes nice and hard, but DeJager, who has been absolutely on fire. He's been pushing it. Oh, it's a bit of a problem there from Martle. I don't know quite what was going on there.
Both guys did grip up there a little bit. Now, I'm sure the competitor who's following will say something like, oh, I was emulating, but I think you'll find both the guys just gripped up a little bit.
Well, let's have a bit of a look on the replay now. Both cars come through perfectly through the top by the beach, heading towards the grade. A bit of a straight there from Martle, and of course DeJager trying to emulate does the same.
I think he's pretty much done the same there. I don't know that it was deliberate. I think it was more of a case of whoops from both competitors there, but plenty of sportsmanship and camaraderie being shown on the start line. That has all evaporated now the cars are in motion.
They are in battle, ladies and gentlemen, and it is go time. The yellow GFB Skyline goes in nice and early, 100% commitment. Good line there. Now, that's a relatively new car this year, but the Extreme Drift Clutch, Sylvia, of course, he's been around for a while driving that one, and it shows. Look at him catching up there.
Look at that. That's really good work there from Martle at the end there. I think the Jager had the best of it early here, although he didn't quite pick up the line. Look, James was really good on the exit there, and from that point onward, James pretty much had the initiative. Look what he does from there. It's excellent. And a slight win there to DeJager. That was actually a drawn battle, the second one. So there you go. 11-9 for DeJager over Martle, and Martle can catch the early ferry.
The Toyo Top 16 is gone, ladies and gentlemen, but don't go anywhere because there's plenty more action coming here from round 4 of the Toyo Drift Australia Series.
Do is go there.
Tonight,
one small malfunction and a lifetime's work would be for nothing.
A stunning recreation of a mission which was once impossible.
Titan is the best organic factory in the solar system.
Then at 9:30, we continue the story of the best of youth. An epic struggle inside Italy's tumultuous history. Tonight, starting with Europe in the Middle Ages at 7:30, here on SBS.
Every day, on every network, we're bombarded by the latest issues. There's no shortage of current affairs programs in Australia, but there's only one that speaks from an Indigenous point of view. Living Black, Wednesdays at 6 on SBS. National issues, Black perspective.
I'm the one who translates for you. No one hears, no one feels, no one sees. Movies like SBS.